Marcus Ellis stood on the sidewalk just before sunset, his eyes fixed on the glowing sign of the Golden Plate, a restaurant renowned in their small town for its fine dining experience. It was famous for its charming atmosphere, top-tier service, and exquisite cuisine. But Marcus knew that beneath the polished surface lay troubling issues. As one of the restaurant's largest investors and its majority owner, he felt compelled to see if the establishment still upheld the ideals he had envisioned years ago when he first opened its doors. The community believed the Golden Plate was owned by a small investment group, completely unaware that the quiet, ambitious black entrepreneur, Marcus, had guided it from behind the scenes. Tonight, he intended to test the heart of his own establishment, and he planned to do it incognito. Earlier that week, Marcus had arranged for a routine maintenance visit after hours. During that time, he installed 3 discrete cameras, one behind a decorative vase near the entrance, another hidden near the bar's wine rack, and a third tucked into the paneling at the host station. They were so small that they blended seamlessly into the decor, capturing sound and facial expressions, as well as the subtle gestures of his staff. He had noticed a decline in customer satisfaction, along with a stack of complaint letters buried in the office drawer. Whispers of discrimination from staff members had reached his ears, and he needed to witness the truth firsthand. Dressed in a pair of worn jeans, a gray hoodie, and old sneakers, Marcus felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. His outfit was deliberately chosen to blend in as just another customer, devoid of any signs of authority. He even pulled a simple cap low over his brow to obscure his identity. The staff had never seen him in person, as he usually trusted the restaurant managers to report on performance and culture. Tonight, he wanted their unfiltered behavior. As he stepped through the doors, the welcoming aroma of garlic and herbs enveloped him. The warm lighting cast a cozy glow across the room, and soft jazz music floated through the air. Memories of the early days flooded his mind, the choices he and his small team had made regarding the lush velvet booths, local artwork adorning the walls, and the subtle scent of lavender in the restrooms. He wondered if the values he cherished, respect, community, and inclusivity, still thrived amidst the busy restaurant scene. Approaching the hostess stand, Marcus was greeted by a woman named Lisa, who wore perfectly styled hair and a polite, albeit tight, smile. "Good evening," he said softly. "I'd like a table for one, please." Lisa glanced him over, her smile faltering slightly as her eyes drifted to his casual attire. "Did you have a reservation?" she asked, her tone edged with skepticism. "No, I'm afraid I don't," Marcus replied. "Is it possible to get a seat at the bar or maybe a small table?" Lisa hesitated, flipping through the reservation book as if searching for a reason to refuse him. The restaurant wasn't crowded, several tables were empty, and Marcus knew the policy well: walk-ins were allowed, especially on weekdays. "Still," she said, "we're pretty booked tonight. I'm not sure I can fit you in." He raised an eyebrow. "It looks like you have a few free tables near the back." Lisa didn't meet his eye. "They're reserved," she said quickly, then added, "Let me see if the bartender can accommodate you. Just wait here." As she walked away, Marcus noticed the head waiter, Mike, striding past with a tray of drinks. Mike had been hired a couple of years back when Marcus had stepped back from direct oversight. Tall and broad-shouldered, he was often praised for his charm. Marcus watched as Mike greeted a well-dressed couple, beaming a wide smile at them. When Lisa returned, she said flatly, "You can sit at the bar, I guess. Follow me." She guided him to a tall stool at the far end, somewhat isolated from the nicer seating areas. "Someone will be with you shortly," she added, her smile replaced by a neutral line. Marcus nodded, pretending not to notice the chill in her tone. He looked up at the camera near the wine rack, just a few feet away, knowing it was recording everything. He wanted to be patient and see how the staff behaved over time, avoiding jumping to conclusions. About 5 minutes passed before the bartender, a young man named Ethan, approached. "What can I get you?" he asked curtly. "A glass of the house red, please, and maybe some water," Marcus replied, offering a friendly smile. Ethan didn't return the smile. Instead, he eyed Marcus as if he were an unwelcome guest. "Sure," he muttered, turning to retrieve the wine. When he returned, he slapped the glass down on the bar, some of the wine sloshing over the rim. No apology, just silence. Marcus took a sip, noting the fine quality of the wine. Behind him, he overheard Lisa conversing quietly with another server. "Doesn't look like our usual crowd. I hope he doesn't stay long," she whispered. Marcus's heart sank. He remembered the core principle he had insisted upon when opening the golden plate: treat every guest with warmth and respect, regardless of their appearance. He had envisioned the restaurant as a place that welcomed all kinds of people. As he waited patiently, hoping someone would offer him a menu or ask if he wanted to order an appetizer, he felt increasingly invisible. After 20 minutes, he decided to wave gently at Ethan again. "What now?" Ethan approached with a scowl. "I was wondering if I could see the dinner menu." "I'm a bit hungry," Marcus said, keeping his tone friendly. Ethan frowned, reaching under the bar and pulling out a menu, handing it over without a word. Marcus opened it, recognizing the familiar dishes: pan-seared salmon, braised short ribs, and seasonal salads. He decided to order something simple. "I'd like the lemon herb chicken, please." Ethan nodded, not writing anything down. "Sure," he said tonelessly before wandering off. Marcus noticed how differently Ethan treated other customers, making small talk, suggesting wine pairings, and engaging warmly. For him, it was as if he were merely a nuisance. As another 20 minutes passed without his chicken or a simple refill of water, Marcus felt frustration welling up inside him. He waved down Ethan again. "Could I get a side of roasted vegetables?" he asked evenly. Ethan looked annoyed. "You should have ordered that before. The kitchen's busy." "I'm willing to wait," Marcus replied calmly. Ethan rolled his eyes. "Fine," he muttered, moving away with a huff. Just then, Mike approached. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, staring down at Marcus. Marcus realized he was on the verge of being confronted for simply asking a normal customer service question. "I ordered a side dish, and it never came. I just wanted to follow up," he said carefully. Mike glanced at Ethan and then back at Marcus. "We're pretty busy," he said dismissively. "If you're not satisfied with our pace, maybe it's best you settle your bill and head out. We run a quality establishment here. We have standards." Marcus's heart pounded. This was worse than he had feared. Not only were they treating him poorly, but they were threatening to kick him out for asking a simple question. "I just want what I ordered," he insisted, keeping his voice low but firm. Mike stepped closer, invading Marcus's personal space. "Listen, we don't need your kind here complaining about every little thing. There's a diner down the block that might fit your style better." The implication was clear: as a black man dressed casually, he didn't belong in their upscale restaurant. Anger flared in Marcus's chest, but he forced himself to remain calm. He had come to gather the truth, not to lose control. "I think I'll just pay for what I've had and leave," Marcus said, his voice steady. "Good idea," Mike replied, turning away and snapping his fingers at Ethan. "Bill him." Ethan hurried over with a printed check, offering no question about whether Marcus enjoyed his meal or an apology for the missing side. As Marcus reached into his back pocket to pay, he glanced at the hidden camera again, knowing it was capturing every word and sneer. Once the bill was settled, Mike appeared again. "Time to go," he said flatly, as if Marcus were loitering. Marcus took one last look around the place he had envisioned so differently. He stood up slowly and made his way to the exit. Lisa avoided his gaze as he passed, pretending to reorganize menus. Other patrons pretended not to notice, a few glanced curiously, but no one said a word. Outside, the night air felt cold against his cheeks. He exhaled deeply, stunned that his own staff had treated him this way. He was the majority owner, the one who had invested his time, money, and dreams into the golden plate. Now he stood outside, practically thrown out as if he were an intruder. He could have revealed himself right then and there, demanded respect, or fired people on the spot. But that wasn't his style. He wanted them to show their true colors fully, and they had. He checked his phone to confirm the cameras were still rolling inside, recording the aftermath of his departure. Soon, he would bring these recordings to light, showing them who he really was. As he walked away, he planned his next move. This was just the beginning. The following morning, Marcus sat in his modest apartment, the dim lamplight casting long shadows along the walls. He hadn't changed out of last night's clothes, having collapsed into his armchair, too troubled to do anything but stare into the darkness. Now, with the first light of morning, he forced himself to his feet. He had work to do. The events of the previous evening weighed heavily on his mind. He moved to his wooden desk, flipped open his laptop, and prepared to watch the footage he had captured from the hidden cameras. He almost didn't want to see it, experiencing it firsthand had been painful enough. Yet he knew he must. As the recordings played, Marcus watched himself step through the doors of the Golden Plate, dressed casually and looking like any regular diner. He flinched at how Lisa had looked at him, like he was an intruder rather than a customer. He observed Ethan's dismissive attitude and Mike's cold tone when he suggested he leave. Each moment stung. There was no misunderstanding, it was prejudice, plain and simple. Marcus closed the laptop, realizing he had to confront this head-on. Letting it slide would mean condoning such behavior, and he would never allow that. He picked up his phone and called Loretta, who had been with the restaurant from the start as an accountant. "I need a mandatory all-staff meeting at the Golden Plate tonight after closing. Everyone must be there, no exceptions." Loretta sensed his seriousness. "Did something happen?" "I visited last night Incognito. The treatment I received was unacceptable. I have evidence, recordings. Let's just say the staff will be in for a shock." After hanging up, Marcus took a deep breath, preparing for the difficult conversation ahead. He would present the evidence, show them the truth, and give them a chance to respond. That evening, as the staff gathered, Marcus stood before them. "Good evening. I realize you may not know who I am. I'm Marcus Ellis, the majority owner of the Golden Plate. I was involved in its founding and have shaped it from the very beginning." Shock rippled through the group. He explained the complaints he had received and how he had visited the restaurant as an ordinary customer to witness the treatment firsthand. "I have video recordings of my experience," he stated, displaying the footage. The room fell silent as they watched, absorbing the reality of their actions. After the presentation, Marcus addressed them directly. "This is not what the Golden Plate stands for. I am deeply disappointed. Hospitality isn't about judging who deserves kindness, it's about offering kindness freely." He listened as staff members began to speak up, expressing remorse. They acknowledged their roles in the toxic culture that had taken root. "I want to make something clear," Marcus said firmly. "If I let this place remain open and keep some of you employed, I need to see real change. This is your chance to prove that you can learn and grow." Over the next few days, Marcus worked tirelessly to implement new training programs focused on inclusivity and respect. He was present at each session, guiding discussions and ensuring that everyone understood the significance of their actions. As the restaurant prepared to reopen, Marcus felt a sense of hope. He observed the staff interacting with customers, noting a newfound warmth in their demeanor. The Golden Plate was on its way to becoming the welcoming establishment he had always envisioned, and Marcus was determined to ensure it would never lose sight of that mission again.